Charles Darwin is a name almost everyone knows. In 2002, he was ranked 4th in the BBC's Greatest Britons of All Time survey, only beaten by Isambard Kingdom Brunel, Winston Churchill and Oliver Cromwell. He published many notary works, but his crowning glory was The Origin of Species, released in 1859. Darwin is known for his evolutionary theory, as well as many other things. What isn't known as well is his issues with his illnesses throughout his life, and that is why we're in Ilkley.
Just before the release of Origin of Species in November 1859, Darwin came here to Ilkley, where he stayed at Wells Terrace. Some say it was for seclusion and rest, others say it was to start planning his second edition, but why we are here today is to find out about his mysterious illness and how Ilkley offered treatment for it.
Darwin's family had a huge history of inbreeding. Darwin himself married his first cousin, Emma Wedgwood. This for a long time was not a problem, but over the research for Origin of Species, he became across problems with the appropriation of species that are too similar to each other, and began to apply this knowledge to his own illnesses.
Darwin's illness persisted throughout his life, so much so that he often missed debates on his evolutionary theory and relied upon his close friend Thomas Huxley to fight on his behalf. Coming to Ilkley was about many things, as we already discussed. Greg Raddick, the co-author of Darwin in Ilkley, claims that Darwin came to Ilkley for rest and recuperation, as well as hoping for a cure for his illness.
It was a pamper holiday for him. He had just finished work on The Origin of Species, and he had a few months between finishing that and the publication. And Darwin's health was problematic throughout his adult life. And so after months of intensive work on this book, he reckoned that he deserved a break. And for him, the water cure, which was a 19th century alternative therapy, was the one thing that reliably gave him relief. So he decided to take the water cure this time, not in his usual place, Malvern, which is in the south of England, but in Ilkley in the north.
This is Wells House. This is where Darwin received his treatment in hydrotherapy. His illness was getting progressively worse through his life, and it even transcended some of his children, which unfortunately led to their deaths. Here we're going to go have a look at the building in which he received his treatment.
Darwin used this very building to receive his treatment and was a patient here in 1859. His treatment consisted of being exposed to water, both hot and cold, by bathing, drinking and being wrapped in towels before being rubbed down. Despite its once notoriety with the treatment, this centre is now an apartment block.
Hydrotherapy is by no means a pleasant experience. Upon coming here, Darwin wrote a letter to one of his close friends, claiming that if you keep its spirits up, I shall stay 8 weeks here, and thus give hydrotherapy a fair chance. Before starting here, I was in an awful state of stomach strength, temper and spirits. But only weeks later, Darwin sent another letter, claiming that he came here intending to stay 3 or 4 weeks, but I very much doubt whether I shall have the patience.
We wondered what made Ilkley such a popular destination, not just for people like Darwin, but also those of a lesser social status. Whitewell Spa has been around since 1700 and was active throughout the Victorian period. Today, its manager, Mark Hunbell, explained why he thought it was such a popular destination.
The views are nice, the air's nice and fresh and clean, unlike in the cities, certainly in that era. And also partially because of the fact that Charles Darwin's daughter had died at Malvern, so he probably didn't want to have a return visit there, bring up the bad memories and so on of his daughter being there. So he's no doubt looking for somewhere else to to come to have his spa treatment, and Ilkley was attractive for him for that.
Here I am at Whitewell Spa, another popular spot for which people came to do hydrotherapy. Unlike Wells House, it is still today open as a tourist attraction in which people engage in the plunge pool. And today I will be giving myself a go.
Here we are at Whitewell Spa Plunge Pool, which has existed since 1700. Darwin himself would not have come to this particular plunge pool, but it will give us an idea of the types of things people are exposed to in hydrotherapy.
Okay, here we go. I can tell you right now, Victorians are crazy. Looking back on if Darwin did this on a considerable basis, I can say that he must have been in excruciating agony repeatedly for a prolonged period of time, because that is something I definitely do not want to repeat.
The big question is, did Ilkley serve as a purpose to Darwin to move forward and edit his book and move on to greater things? Or was Ilkley a town for which Darwin spent a fraction of his life just to get over his illness?
So there does seem to be a very strong element of the placebo effect, believing something's going to be helpful to you. There is, as you were saying, as you experienced yourself, there is that amazing contrast of being very uncomfortable in very cold water and then feeling really good because you're no longer so cold. Another element of it is the diet. You came to Ilkley and you lived a simple life. You ate simply, you were outside, you were walking, you were away from orthodox medicine, which at this time was giving people things like mercury. Now this gets on to the second question of kind of what exactly was wrong with Darwin such that hydrotherapy helped him. And here my co-author made, I think, a very important discovery. While we were writing the book, Mike Dixon came to me and said that he had noticed a pattern that no one else had noticed in the letters that Darwin writes from Ilkley. Because when Darwin stayed in Ilkley, and not many people had noticed this before, he actually stays in two different places. He arrives in Ilkley and he stays at the hotel, the Wells Hydropathic Hotel. His family then comes and joins him, and he moves down the road to what's now Crossbeck Road and takes a family house for a month. His family then leaves and he goes back to the hotel for a couple of weeks, and then he goes home. So hotel, family house, hotel. What Mike noticed in the letters is that when Darwin's staying in the hotel, basically he feels great. When he's staying in the family home, he feels lousy. What about the diet? As I say, when you came to Ilkley, you're under the doctor's diet at the hotel, and it was a very simple diet, and among other things, it was very low in milk and cream. By contrast, in the family house, where Emma Darwin was in charge, and we know this because, believe it or not, someone published Emma Darwin's cookbook. Her cooking was very heavy on milk and cream. And so the thought was, this was already an idea kicking around the medical literature, but it had been suggested that maybe what was really problematic for Darwin was an extreme form of lactose intolerance.
Lactose intolerance is an allergic reaction to dairy, which can result in abdominal pain, bloating, diarrhea, gas, and nausea, many of which Darwin suffered from.
And so the Ilkley letters, read in the way that Mike read them, give a new pattern, a new data, which I think is what's really exciting in this debate, a new pattern to be explained. And the lactose intolerance hypothesis goes, to my mind, closer to explaining it than anything else.
So what have we learned over this journey? It seems clear now that Darwin's primary motivations for going to Ilkley was for rest and a chance to improve his health. This mysterious illness that had plagued Darwin throughout his life, an illness which he feared had been passed on to his children and may have resulted in the death of his daughter Annie, could have simply been an exceptionally aggressive version of lactose intolerance. We may never know for sure.